live in 5, 4, 3.
What's up, friends? Welcome to Chaos Live, my fun little live stream that I like to do on the weekends to hang out with all you awesome people and answer questions if possible. I do my best anyways. It doesn't go in order though, sadly, because sometimes the chat gets pretty wild and crazy, so I can't usually keep up with it. If I go in order every single one, I end up getting super far behind and people end up leaving the stream before I even get to their questions. So I'll be jumping around a little bit. So leave your questions in the chat. I'll do my best to jump around and get some good questions and answer them the best that I can if I know the answers to them. So what's up? We got some notification platoon individuals, you awesome people that jumped right on that alert. We got a Park, we got Give Me $5. We got a brand new member that I noticed, Hernandez. Thank you for becoming an awesome member. You got T-Dog, we got SCP-682, we got Rivera, was it Guz? We got Exploration. You guys always have these crazy names that make it always so difficult for me. Electronic Snake, Soldier King, Anakin, Carlos, Cody, Cruz, Alyssa, another awesome member. We got Andreas, Jonathan, awesome. All of you awesome notification platoon individuals, thank you for coming and joining in. Let's get right into it and let's answer some questions the best that I possibly can. Make sure that if you have a good time, show the stream some love by hitting that thumbs up. No specific goal or anything. I mean, it'd be nice to get over 100. We'll see if we can go over 100, but nothing special really happens, I guess. Park wants to know, can you go to Thailand while in the delayed entry program? Yeah, I mean, if you're in the delayed entry program, you don't really have any kind of rules just yet because you're not officially in the Army yet. I mean, as long as you don't miss the date you're supposed to go to, MEPS and everything to take off to go to basic training, you should be fine. There's not usually any kind of rules because you're not officially in the Army until you actually do the official swear-in at MEPS and then take off to basic training. So yeah, that should be fine. Going to MEPS tomorrow, Gabriel. Good luck to you. Yo, Chris, I'm back. Been busy with school. Well, thanks for coming and stopping in, SCP. Glad to see you here. Also, how does Army Liaison get jobs like? Does your recruiter get jobs from MEPS, or does MEPS give set amount of jobs to recruiter? I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about just MOSs for your jobs? I don't know what you're talking about. But that just comes from qualifications based on available slots and everything at your when you go to MEPS and stuff. Sworn in 2 days ago. 35 Fox Intel Analyst, ship out November 4th. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully all goes well. I ship in 36 hours. Wow, man, Electronic Snake. Well, good luck to you. There's a lot of people getting ready to ship out. And you guys are going to forget all about me. Your basic training and offer your units. You'll be like, that guy lied to me. It's nothing like he said. No. Ship out to Fort Seal October 7th. Another one, man. Good luck to you. What's up, Chris? I'm watching from 13 Bravo AIT. Awesome. Didn't class up till next week, so I'm a holdover. Awesome. Well, good luck to you. Holdover can be very boring, especially if you get stuck like doing a bunch of details until class starts and stuff. That sucks. But thanks for watching. Let's see. Notification platoon. Thanks, Alyssa. Currently in Fort Lee and Ordnance Island. Awesome. Anyone here ship? Oh, I was just asking that. Hey man, I entered your last stream asking about my ASVAB. I took it and got a 68. I can get just about any job. What would you recommend, man? I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're interested in. I would just try to find an MOS you think that you'd like. I don't know what your interests are, so I can't really recommend an MOS based on interests that I don't know what you have. So that's what I would say is, if they're going to allow you to pick pretty much whatever, and I guess it still depends on, slots being available, for that MOS, because sometimes you can go for a really cool MOS, but it's really super cool because it's hard to get to, and there's not a lot of slots available for it. So that can be tough as well. So find something you're interested in, whether that's intel, infantry, whether that's driving trucks, whether that's, being video production stuff, whatever, mechanic, I would find something that you're interested in that you think you'll have fun and enjoy doing, and go for that. What's happening, Joe? How's it going? What's your favorite MOS? I don't know if I have a favorite MOS. was the 25 Victor sound like a really cool one. I didn't really know about it when I was actually in the Army. It wasn't until later that I found out about that awesome MOS where it's like doing television production. So I think that would have been pretty cool. But MEPS was smooth for me. Just follow instructions and you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, when you go to MEPS, it's just you're just going to station, doing some physicals, probably peeing in a cup, then eventually sitting down with a counselor and seeing what kind of things you have available to you. And then Park, you're saying your question's too important. I already answered your question, man. Were you paying attention? If you're not paying attention, I don't want to repeat the questions over again. So if you weren't paying attention, I already answered your question about Thailand. Let's see, like 900 subs away from 50K, probably somewhere around there. Yeah. Now that YouTube doesn't show you guys, anyways, the exact numbers, it's now abbreviated, so it's like 49.1 or 49.2 or whatever. You guys see it that way, so you guys don't see the exact one. That's why I also don't have like the little counter thing over here, because they can't track that anymore because YouTube now abbreviates the subs. But yeah, it's somewhere around there. It's probably about 900. Well, it's a little less than that because I think it's it's probably like 800 and something. But still a little bit away, but it's approaching. What firearms you use as an 88 mic while on watch? Everybody pretty much has M4s. So M4 is the very common one, depending on unless you're doing certain things where you might have a 240 Bravo up in a guard tower, or when you're just normally on duty doing stuff, out in a deployment, you have M4. I'm one step closer to joining the Army. I gotten off my blood pressure meds. Now I have to wait for 2 weeks to see if I'm good. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully all goes well. Delayed entry shipping out for OSIT 19 kilo. Good luck to you, Zach. When your recruiter gets you a job, do you go to MEPS to sign the contract, or can you sign it at the recruiter's office and just wait out in boot camp? No. So that's all done at MEPS. The recruiter just kind of tries to tell you what's going on and gets everything all lined up. It's really at MEPS that you sign the contract. So MEPS is going to be the ones to show you what's available based on how everything went at MEPS and what slots are available, and based on ship dates for basic training and everything like that. So at MEPS is where they do the contracts. You won't do the contract with your recruiter. Your recruiter will try to add stuff. Like if you're trying to get certain things into your contract, then yes, you kind of do that with the recruiter, and then he makes sure that information goes up to MEPS when you go to MEPS, and that way it gets into the contract, bundled into with your MOS that you're selecting, and that all kind of goes together. How do you become medevac? So that's a specific MOS. You're talking about being actually in the bird and everything. That's a specific 68 series, I believe. It's not a 68 whiskey, but there's a special 68 one for being an actual one inside the bird, if that's what you're talking about. If I was diagnosed with ADHD but haven't taken medication in 6 years and have good control over my symptoms, can I join the Army? I don't really know. That's all going to be based on determination from a doctor. You'd have to go. I'd say you just go through the process, and don't lie about anything, because, we had that situation. What was it, the Navy guy or was it the Army guy? I don't remember what it was. But that recent one where the guy ended up lying about things and then ended up, screwing him over in the end. But you'll go through MEPS and they'll evaluate you, and if the doctor clears you, then you're good to go. But if the doctor says that no, you still have this problem, then we can't do anything with it. But people get into all sorts of crazy things because they listen to other people. They're like, oh, just lie about it, just lie, and then they end up getting in maybe, and then it ends up screwing them over in the end, and they find out that this was a pre-existing thing, and now you're screwed. So 5-ton military trucks, cool, but aren't they gas eaters? A lot of military trucks suck gas like crazy. Pilot program. What are you talking about? Going pilot? Plan on going to Calvary as soon as I make weight. Well, good luck to you, Seth. At the hotel right now to ship tomorrow. MEPS is super easy. Well, good luck. A lot of people taking off here soon, huh? This is around the time. Let's see, we're in September, October, November, getting close to probably AIT. You'll be stuck in, unless you're doing OSIT, AIT doing Christmas in AIT, so where you'll be going home on leave during Christmas from AIT and stuff, depending on unless you have a really short AIT. How is Jesse and the little one doing? They're doing great, Alyssa. They sent me pictures earlier today of them relaxing. The other day they went up into the mountains and were exploring around, and so everything's going great. I'll actually see them this weekend, or next weekend, I guess, not because this is the weekend right now, but the weekend coming up, I'm going back to California for my high school reunion, so I'll see them then. So I get to see them here pretty soon. Watching the Browns and Rams playing and listening to you. Oh, by the way, Packer, do you want again? What? I don't understand the last part, but awesome on the game. My Raiders lost, so I didn't watch the game. I just saw an alert pop up saying that they lost. Hey, Chris, first, congratulations on closing in on the 50,000 subscribers milestone. Question for you today: how is the new Army enlisted promotion test going to be different this coming year? I haven't read too much on it. I need to research it a little bit better so I can do some video topic on it. You still have the basic normal one for E1 through E4, but they are changing how you go from E5 to E6. I don't know, there's something more about like experience that kind of ties into it. I got to look into it to see how that kind of ties in. But from E1 through E4, that's all still the same. That's not really changing. It's more for going to E5 and E6 that is changing in some ways. So I got to research that a little bit better. But thanks about the closing on the 50,000. We're getting there. It's getting closer. So, what's happening, Jay the Vorn? How's it going? Do you know if Sea Cadets can bump you up? I don't know. You talking about like if you do like CBs or something like that before joining the Army? I don't know if that'll help for the Army or not. What's the coolest thing you have done in the Army? I don't know. I mean, some of the range stuff is kind of cool. There's a couple ranges where I helped out where I didn't blow up any C4, but I was there while they're blowing some stuff up, and that was kind of cool. Some of the tank gunneries are kind of cool, watching the tanks fire. The coolest thing, though, I don't know. I don't know what the coolest thing would be. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff, though, sometimes. I don't know. It's hard to pick one. Chris, did you get issued Under Armour t-shirts when you were in Iraq? Not Under Armour. They weren't specifically like Under Armour brand. We had some similar type of shirts that were kind of like a long sleeve one that was kind of like that kind of same material that Under Armour has, and then our regular t-shirts that are kind of a similar material, but they're not Under Armour. I don't remember who made them, but I don't think they're made by Under Armour. Chris, sorry for showing up late. You're okay, Evie. Was playing Borderlands 3, awesome, and early stream time threw me off. So how's your night been? It's been great. I made some Chinese food, just some oven stuff, nothing fancy. Cleaned the house earlier, and just hanging out. Was watching Live PD a minute ago as recorded from Friday, and then got ready for the live stream. So yeah, I did a little bit earlier because I still need to do some video work tonight and a few other things. So I needed to kind of maybe start a little bit earlier, so maybe it worked out a little bit better, give me a little bit better time. Have you known some 88 hotel cargo specialists? Did they seem to enjoy their job shipping out in a couple weeks? I did not. I never knew anybody that was in that MOS. I think I did. Did I do MOS Monday on that MOS? I don't remember. But I did not. Would a drill instructor make you do push-ups if they find out it was your birthday during basic? They probably would, just because they look for any possible excuse to smoke you and make you have to deal with, certain circumstances. So yes, good chance they probably would. But again, sometimes they'll just make you do push-ups because you sneezed, So it doesn't really matter. They're gonna find any possible way that they can to make you do push-ups and yell at you and everything to make sure you can handle the stress. So that is a very good possibility. Chris, what did you think of the crappy UFC main event? Yeah, main event was pretty bummer. Some of the other fights were okay. There were some good ones here and there and stuff, but yeah, it was a bummer with the eye poke at the very end. I'm guessing he must have, because the eye didn't actually go into his eye or anything like that, but because he swiped down, I'm guessing he must have scratched like the cornea or something like that. So maybe his hand just kind of scratched across the cornea and kind of made his eyelid freak out like that to where he couldn't open his eye. So I'm guessing that's what it was. But yeah, that was pretty, 15 seconds? That was a bummer. Maybe they'll do a rematch. I'm not really too concerned. It wasn't super hyped up, but it was just entertaining hanging out and watching the fight. Hell yeah, Raider Nation. There you go. Like I said, I've said it before. I root for the Raiders. I don't usually really watch them and pay attention too well. So, but yeah. Can I pick another job at MEPS if I already reserved a job? Probably not. Once you've already signed a contract and locked into it, probably not. You're probably screwed. I don't know. You can talk to them and ask, but I don't believe so. When can we see return of MOS Monday? Possibly on this Monday, maybe, if I get my crap together tonight and get it done. But it won't be. I don't know how super consistent it'll be. It probably still won't be every Monday. But I'm planning on having one this Monday. I don't know if there'll be one the next Monday though or not. I don't know. We'll see how things kind of go, because we're already in the realm now of less interesting MOSs that people are a little bit more obscured interested in. All the really big MOSs that the majority of people are interested in, I've pretty much covered for the most part. There might be onesies and twosies here and there, but most of the MOSs that I haven't done yet are ones that are a little bit more obscure and not as many people are interested in, so it's getting a little bit harder to cover those ones, and I'm noticing that the views aren't as high anymore with some of those more obscure MOSs. So we'll see how things go. What's up, Chaos? My boss is also a Raider fan. Awesome. Do you think we'll actually be at war soon? The media is hyping about that when you read between the lines, and I thought I'd ask a veteran their thoughts. Possibly. I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff going on with Iran and everything, and there could be some stuff. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's possible. It's always possible, really. There's crap going down. I mean, there's still some stuff going on in Afghanistan, but that's mostly training the local nationals and stuff. Something in Syria could spark up a little bit more. Some of those things are kind of going on, but that could end up being something more minor and being more like really select strategic strike stuff. Maybe not a full-on thing like Afghanistan and Iraq was, but we'll see. I don't really know. There's a possibility, though. I mean, they definitely do. Yeah, I do agree. They do kind of make it sound like it on the media for some things, but we'll see. Getting ready for work, and I've got the volume up so I can hear you, and my cat is watching the video. Well, awesome. Hopefully the cat doesn't attack the TV or whatever you got up streaming on, laptop or whatever. It's kind of horrible. You're getting ready for work now. You have to go to work so late at night. Man. What was the best time to enlist? I don't know if there's really a good time. I mean, I would recommend maybe earlier in the year so you don't end up in basic training or AIT during the Christmas time, because that kind of messes things up with taking leave and everything, because then they'll kind of force you to take leave. Well, they don't really necessarily force you, but then you're kind of stuck in a situation where they might want you to take leave during Christmas, and then mixing it up. So I would try to time it to try to go in to basic training before you end up in a situation where you're going to be at basic or AIT during Christmas. Can't wait till Diaz Masvidal. Yeah, that'll be a cool one too. Is that next weekend? I don't remember when that is. If that's next weekend, I'll be at my high school reunion, so I'll miss it. But if it's the weekend after that, we'll be good. Chris, do a video about the phonetic alphabet? I did. It's an old one. That was actually there was like about two or three videos that I did before I was officially kind of making this a military or army YouTube channel. And the phonetic alphabet video was one of those videos that I remember I did before I was really officially making it a military channel. At that time, I was just trying to mix things up. I was doing vlogs, I was doing video editing kind of videos, and I had this idea where I was going to do on Mondays, Military Mondays, where I was going to have some kind of military topic on Mondays. That's something in my mouth, hair or something. And that was one of the videos. I did the rank video, which that one didn't take off right away, but it took a couple months before that one like gained a crap ton of traction that eventually led to this being a military channel. And then I also did the phonetic alphabet video. And I think there was like a video like talking about like my basic training or something like that I did, was one of the kind of first ones. But I do have a video on the phonetic alphabet. Hey Chris, I know, was it Pashto, but I can't read or write, only speak. Does that qualify for language pay? I don't think so, because I think you have to be able to read, write it, and speak it. I think you have to have a combination of all those things for them to qualify you enough for language pay. So I don't think that will, but I'm not 100% sure. You'd always be able to check with them. But I believe I've seen before that you have to be able to read it, write it, and speak it, and understand it. Do you have a driver's license before enlisting to become an 88 Mike? Yes. You do need a driver's license. Is ammo supply an obscure or what? Not really. That one I might eventually cover here soon. Was it a 59 Bravo? Something like that? That one's not as obscure. There's a lot of people still interested in that one. That one will probably be one eventually at some point where I'll do that MOS. What do you know about using a VA loan to buy a house? Well, I've done it before. I mean, you basically just talk to the bank, tell them you're a veteran, you wanted to look into a VA loan. They're going to ask for some documentation to prove that. You'll have to get some kind of a letter. I forget what the letter officially is called, but there's a letter you get from the VA to show that you're a disabled veteran, or a veteran actually, for that matter. Your D214 I believe will work too, but if you want, like if you have a rating from the VA, that really helps out, because that also kind of gets rid of certain fees that are associated with a VA loan. So if you happen to have 10% or more, then you get those fees waived. So there's a couple of documentation that they'll ask for, DD214, and then if you have a rating from the VA, there's a document from that showing that it's a permanent rating, not a temporary rating or anything like that, and then they'll waive certain fees. So you just talk to the bank, they'll ask for some different proof. It works great. You don't have to put any money down if you don't want to. A lot of fees get waived, like I said, if you have to more than 10%, and it just kind of makes it to where as long as you have, I think, like what is like a 645 credit score, then you basically get the best rating you can possibly get. So it doesn't matter if you have a 645 exactly or an 800 credit score, you're basically going to get the same percentage rating usually for most banks. We'll do it that way because it's a VA loan. So that definitely helps out to where you get the best possible interest rate. 2 questions. Are non-U.S. citizens eligible to, GI station overseas because green card holders can't, because they do what? They can't get U.S. citizenship, so they have to wait until they get U.S. citizenship? I don't know that much. Usually, but to just in general, to join the Army, obviously you have to be at least have a green card holder, but I don't know what you're talking about. So you're saying that you've heard that green card holders can't be stationed overseas? I don't know if I've ever heard that. I don't know though. I mean, that could be possible, but I don't know 100% sure on any facts on that. I don't think I've ever been with anybody that was not a U.S. citizen overseas. So I don't know that one for sure. I couldn't tell you. Did you go whoring around in your time in the Army? No. Hey Chris, who fights more, 12 Bravos or 68 Whiskey? What are you talking about? Like in combat or just like in general, like fighting with each other? 12 Bravos, I guess? I don't know. How long do you have to take leave around Christmas? You don't have to take leave. Usually, like if it's during basic training AIT, it's probably like a week. Otherwise, like when you're at your unit, usually they have block leave around that time frame to try to encourage people to take vacation for the most part. And then that'll sometimes be for like about 2 weeks. Usually it's like a thing where the week of Christmas, I guess sometimes it depends on how Christmas falls too, but the week of Christmas maybe, and then maybe the week after, and then you come back like after New Year's or something like that for the most part. That's commonly how they kind of do it. Not always, but that's a common one. Masvidal versus Nate Diaz will be November 2nd. Oh, that's good then. That's a little ways away then. So I'll should be able to watch that then. That'll be good. What do you think about 13, was it Juliet? I ship out on December 31st. I don't have any experience with that MOS. Sorry, can't really help you on that one. Is that a Metal Militia hat? Yes. Yes, it is. Hey Chris, can you do a video on air assault school? Probably at some point. That is something I have on a list to do. One key thing like to note about air assault, everybody always assumes that it's like a lot of rappelling out of helicopters. I think they only do that for a few of the days during the class. Most of the class is actually sling load operations for how to rig up a cargo to be able to be picked up by a helicopter. So that's a big part. A lot of people have the big misconception that air assault school is all about getting to like rappel out of helicopters, and that is part of it. But from everybody I've known that's gone through air assault school, they said the bulk of the class is actually math and a lot of sling load operations and a lot of that kind of stuff, rigging up a cargo to be picked up by a helicopter. So, crazy thing. Yo, got to go, Chris. Got to do something. You take it easy. Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Would you recommend someone that is 5'4" for an 88 mic? By the way, thanks for the land nav video. No problem. Yeah, I don't see 5'4" shouldn't mess up anything. You don't really have to be super tall for driving the trucks or anything like that, so I don't think that matters. There's some people that I knew that was 88 mics that were fairly short and stuff, so I don't think that would affect it too much. It should be all right. Could you get back into MEPS after being disqualified? Sometimes they'll tell you how long you have to be able to come back, to be able to be reevaluated. There are some factors that'll be like a permanent disqualification and some that are just like a temporary disqualification. Maybe like you're overweight or failed a drug test, then you might be disqualified for like a year or something. And there's certain other things where they probably are just like, no, you're disqualified from the Army. It just really depends on the situation. Do you have to get another physical like the first one at MEPS right before you leave for basic training? No. When you go to MEPS the second time, it's really just to receive a bunch of documents from them into a packet. You'll do another swear-in, when that one's the real official one. And then from there, you're probably gathering up with some other people and getting on a bus and either taking off to basic training via bus, or they're taking you to the airport to board a plane to, get you off to where basic training is at. But no, you don't go through the whole physical process or anything like that again. Should you pick MOS just for the bonus or pick one that you like more? I would say one that you like more. I mean, the bonus is going to get taxed a little bit. Sure, it's nice to have that bonus, but the bonus only lasts so far. Your Army contract is what, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, depending on what kind of crazy bonus you got. And if you're getting $10,000, $5,000, $20,000, whatever for this bonus, eventually that money runs out and you're still stuck doing that job that may or may not be something you're interested in. So I would choose something that you enjoy over something that has a bonus, because in the end, you don't want to be stuck doing a job that you hate. And that just makes your time in the military miserable. Were you ever in combat? I went to Iraq twice. Hey Chris, my cousin has enlisted in the Army, and mom has 2 boys. Her recruiter told her that the Army does provide free childcare once she's done with basic and OSIT. Is that true? Well, if she's doing basic, she doesn't do OSIT. It's either basic or OSIT and then AIT. But yeah, I think they have sometimes they have. I think they have free child. I don't remember if it's free childcare or just really cheap childcare. I was never in that situation, but I've had people that did that. And I don't remember. I think some installations have childcare facilities that are free for active duty, and then some that are just like really, really cheap for active duty. So I think sometimes it depends on the installation on how they do that. But something along those lines, usually yes. Can you get an airborne slot at MEPS if you're in the Guard? I don't know if that varies from Guard compared to enlisted or whatever. That's usually a thing that you go and you talk to your recruiter to try to get airborne into your contract. I don't believe it matters whether or not you're Guard or active duty or reserves or whatever. I think it's just the same amount of slots, whether they're available or not available. So you should be able to. You'd have to talk to a recruiter to see if they have the slots available to lock you in for airborne school for after basic training. So you graduate basic training and then go to airborne school. What's up? Was it the damn ninja? What's happening? I got physical disqualified at MEPS for not being able to stand on my knees. Do you know if I can get a medical waiver, or is it permanently disqualifying? I think it's because I have huge legs or my toes won't bend all the way. They should have told you something. I don't know. The doctors there should have told you if it was something where you qualified to be able to come back again at a later time or not, or if you're permanently disqualified. I don't know the technicalities of that. How can you get airborne school in your contract? Talk to your recruiter. Recruiters will look at what slots they have available, and if they have the slots available to put you into airborne school to lock you in for after basic, then they can, possibly. But that just depends on what slots are available. Do they done high school to flight school program? I don't really know anything about that, so that'd be a little bit tough to try to do. Maybe at some point in time. I don't think I know anybody that's done that, so that'd be really tough. Do a video about underwater basket weaver school. I did that now. I heard the school is so tough it leaves SF candidates in tears. Did an April Fool's video on that. What's up, Chris? Our Raiders looked like crap again today, unfortunately. I didn't watch the game. I just was I was busy cleaning up around the house, and a little alert went off on my phone saying that was the Vikings, wasn't it? I think it was, beat the Raiders. I was like, dang it! Of course they did. Of course. It seemed so promising at the beginning of the season. We started off with a win, and then 2 straight losses back to back. So, I mean, it could bounce back. You never know. You gotta be hopeful, I guess. You should do a video on 1st Force Security Assistance Brigade. Maybe. Eventually I'm going to do a video on SFAB, probably. I do a lot of classes where I teach SFAB guys, and so I talk to them occasionally just out of curiosity about certain aspects of it. But yeah, eventually I'll probably will do a SFAB. That's, at some point. I don't know when. Do you have any tips for avoiding shin splints? No, I never had that, so I don't know. I don't know if I have any good tips for that. Do you think 22 is too old to join? No, definitely not. I mean, officially, to be too old to join the Army is like 34, 35. So 22 is still very young. There was a guy I went to basic training with, he was 30. Everybody called him grandpa because 30 isn't old at all. But when you're all 18, 19, 20 years old, you're like, holy crap, this guy's 30. So 22 is still very young. So you're good. There's a lot of people I know that come in around that age. I know you could be 18 and do high school to flight school. Yeah, I don't know anything about high school to flight school though. Airborne is only guaranteed if you're going to special forces or parachute rigger. Yeah, so for that part, it's guaranteed. If you're doing that, you have to go through airborne school. Otherwise, you just have to talk to your recruiter about trying to get into your contract, and then if they have available slots, then they might be able to fit you into one. My name is James. I ship out Tuesday to Fort Leonard Wood. Tuesday, do I start getting paid on October 1st, or I gotta wait until November? Day one of your basic training is the first day you start getting paid. So I mean, that's when they start calculating anyways. I mean, so if you're starting somewhere in the middle of the month or whatever, right, then it's prorated, for the month, and then once you do a full month, then you start actually seeing a normal paycheck. But yeah, your first day of basic training is pretty much the first day you start getting paid, and then you'll from then on get paid on the 15th and the first and 15th of the month. Usually that first paycheck is a little bit delayed though, because they're still in process in the system. But after that, once you're in process fully into the system, every 1st and 15th of the month is payday. Do you know if having big legs where my knees can't bend all the way or my toes can't bend all the way is medically disqualifying? I can't do the movement barefoot I can do with the shoes on. I'm not a doctor, man. You guys sometimes ask me all these medical things. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. All that stuff. You have to go off of what MEPS doctors say. I don't know if that's disqualifying or not. Beats the hell out of me. I didn't go to med school. Do you have any experience with Sappers School? What do Sappers do differently than 12 Bravos? I don't have any, obviously personal experience with Sapper School. I've talked to people that have gone to Sapper School and everything. It's a lot of explosive stuff, so a lot of the people that go through Sapper School learn how to rig things with explosives. That's a big part of it, I think. I don't know what else they do too much, but that's one. I know that's one of the major differences is that sappers do a lot of training with explosives. I'll be 33 when I ship. I wish I was 22 again. Yeah. Everybody wishes they were 22 again, for the most part. What's your favorite music artist? Really, it's Metallica, but as far as actually listening to consistently, I say Metallica is my favorite, but I don't really listen to Metallica as much as I used to when I was in high school and stuff. Right now, most of the music I'm listening to is from Parkway Drive and Motionless in White. for the most part. Those two bands are the ones I'm mostly listening to a lot lately. So I listen to heavy metal, by the way, if you didn't gain it from that. I see so many people posting their ship dates and location. I see people saying that they're not supposed to do that. Can you tell why? A lot of people always freak out about this OPSEC thing, right? There's this thing called operational security. Going to basic training isn't really a violation of OPSEC, because the thing is all these basic training locations consistently have different schools starting at different time frames. So if I was to, you got to look at it from the enemy's point of view. If I was finding out that so-and-so was shipping off on Tuesday, then I know that maybe on Wednesday or Tuesday, there's going to be some soldiers showing up for basic training. Well, the thing is, this is a weekly thing. This happens all the time. So me knowing that doesn't give me any advantage when I could still attack them on Friday or next week after that, and I would still have just as much of an advantage because they're showing up all the time. The only time it really plays into a big thing is when you find out maybe where they're deploying to and when they're deploying to that location. That would be different. That would not be a consistently all the time where someone is showing up all the time. So that one would be a more of an advantage to the enemy. So you got to look at it from that point of view. Is this information something that the enemy could profit off of? Knowing that someone is going to basic training and what day they're going to basic training doesn't help the enemy anywhere in any way. If you were saying that you were deploying to Afghanistan on this specific day and you were going to be showing up here, then yes, that would be something that the enemy could have gained some kind of advantage to. That's what people always freak out about. They're like, oh, you shouldn't say what day you're going to basic training. That's not going to help the enemy at all. So that's not really an OPSEC type of thing that you have to really worry about. Telling someone you're deploying or going something more serious would be a little bit more of a violation or a little bit more pertinent to the enemy. I swear I see a guy almost every other day that looks just like you, Chris, and I'm leaving school. Interesting. What if it is me? How do you know it's not me? Especially if you're in Colorado Springs, then it could be me. What is the new expert soldier badge? What is it? I have a video on that. I have a news video that I did when they first announced that I did, was a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever, when they first announced that expert soldier badge. But it's basically kind of like the expert infantryman badge. If you pass all these tests and you get recommended by your leadership, then you get to wear this cool expert soldier badge. I do see a lot of people like complaining about it, being like, "Oh, it's a participation badge." Like, no, you don't just get the badge for participating. You still have to go through a qualification course. You have to qualify expert with your weapon. You have to do a bunch of other stuff. So no, it's not a, participation badge. A lot of infantry people are all butthurt because now their expert infantryman badge isn't as special anymore, or they think so anyways. That because now anybody can get this expert badge, either an infantryman badge or a soldier badge or whatever. But yeah, you don't just simply get it just for being in the Army. You have to go through a qualification. You have to be first recommended by your leadership to go to the qualification course, and then qualify expert and do a bunch of other things to even qualify for the badge. So it's not a participation badge, but there's a little bit more video. There's a video that gives a little bit more explanation as far as how it's going to go into effect. That if you check out my channel, I've got a video on it. So you do a little search for expert soldier badge on my channel, you'll probably find the video. I just got the notification for the stream. Man, it's a little bit late-ish. We're 40 minutes already into the stream. Man, rough. Motionless in White is from the town where I go to college. That's awesome. One of their members dates that girl who won Ink Masters. She's from the same area. It's pretty cool. They're an awesome band. I've seen them once. Yeah, once in concert. They're pretty cool. They were one of the bands that were playing with Korn when I went to go see Korn and Breaking Benjamins, and it was a good show. And ever since I saw that show, I was like, this is a badass band. I like this band. And I was kind of listening to them ever since then. How often do 92 Golfs get deployed? It depends on the unit. It doesn't matter on the MOS. It depends on the unit. If you are a cook, if you are a mechanic, if you are an infantryman, and you're in a particular unit that is deploying, you're going to deploy. Your MOS does not dictate how often you deploy. Your unit does. Was there anyone in basic that you think could outdo a drill sergeant at PT? I knew a guy who challenged a drill sergeant to a push-up contest and easily won. Yeah, I could see that. There was probably a few guys that were pretty hardcore PT studs that probably could outdo some of the drill sergeants. I never saw anybody challenge one, but yeah, there's some people I know about. Do I pay for the last 4 years? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you pay for the last 4 years? I don't know, that's not a question. Let's see. Do you think we are going to war with Iran in the future? It's possible. I don't have any like special intel on that to give you some kind of insight on that. Even if I guess I did, I wouldn't be allowed to tell you. But I don't really know. I don't pay attention to the news too much. I mean, the news. I don't know. I'm a little bit prejudiced against the news. I feel like a lot of times they cover things that they feel like are going to bring in viewers and maybe kind of like exaggerate certain things a little bit just because it builds drama. And there's a lot of politics in the news where I am definitely not a political person. Politics drive me nuts. People get so bent out of shape over politics, and I hate that. And so I stay away from the news because that's mostly what the news is politics and then everything. So I don't really see a lot of current events that are going on other than few things here and there if they pop up like on Facebook or on Instagram or other people that I'm talking to or talking about it or whatever. But for the most part, I don't see the news, so I really don't know all of the facts of what's going on with Iran. I hear little cliff notes here and there about things, but you never know. It could be possible. Hey Chris, I'm currently 15 and I'm an honors student and I want to have a good career in life, but I want to join the Army though, yet I still want to go to college to get my career. What should I do? Go into the Army as an officer. So go to college and do the ROTC program. That'll allow you to get a bachelor's degree and then come in the Army as an officer. So I would say possibly do that. If that's something you want to do where you want to go to college but you also want to be in the Army, do ROTC and try to come into the Army as an officer. And then you get the best of both worlds, possibly. Hey Chris, can I kick more doors down in Special Forces or Rangers? Probably Special Forces. Do you have any say in what type of unit you get assigned to? No, it's based on units have what's called an MTO, which is kind of just basically a breakdown of how many MOSs, how many soldiers in each MOS they're supposed to have to be 100%. And so they look at these units and see what units are short on different MOSs, and they start assigning soldiers over there. So you get some units that start getting overstrength. So then soldiers come up on PCS orders to go to another unit to try to fill that slot in another location. And then they look at people who are graduating AIT or OSIT to see who is graduating in these MOSs to try to assign them to there, to see if they need lower enlisted or non-commissioned officers or whatever. And then so it's all based on this whole thing that they have of looking at this list and seeing what units are short and where they're short at and where they can get people from, and they throw you there. So yeah, you don't really get to really pick, where you're going to go to really. Sometimes you can pick a duty station, and if they have units at that duty station that need your MOS, then you can get that assignment. But usually picking the specific unit is a really difficult thing to do. There are some cases where you can do that, but not just your normal everyday MOS can do that. If you were born in other country and don't have your birth certificate, but you are a U.S. citizen, can you still enlist? Yeah, I guess as long as you no, you're gonna need probably a copy of your birth certificate because they need to verify your age and everything like that. So yeah, you're gonna have to find some way to get a copy of your birth certificate in some way. So that is going to be a factor. So yeah, that is going to cause an issue. Do I pay for the last 4 years in volunteering in Army? What would you pay for? You're going to get paid. You get paid to be in the Army. You're not paying to be in the Army. Chris, Navy damage controlman vet here. Re-enlist in the Army. Do you have any extra info on how prior service members are treated at AIT? It's just really laid back compared to a brand new trainee. So brand new soldiers going to AIT are stuck in the barracks with all the other brand new soldiers, cleaning the barracks, doing fire watch and everything else, you have to do there. Whereas prior service usually will be put into like a different barracks kind of thing where you have your own room probably, and you're not having to share like a big open room with like 6 people or whatever. Some AITs a little bit more better, like especially like longer ones. Usually you might get your own room anyways, but those individuals really are a lot more laid back as far as the restrictions than the brand new soldiers. The brand new soldiers are restricted to the barracks. They can't do certain things without getting permission to do so, where if you're a prior service individual, you go to these barracks that are different from the training ones. You don't have the drill sergeants yelling at you all the time. You basically just show up for training, and then after training's done for the day, you're free to go off base, to go to a restaurant or whatever, where the soldiers that are there for AIT have a lot more restrictions. So you'll have a lot more freedom if you're a prior service. Chris, have you ever seen or heard of an instance where a parent and child go to basic together? I think of parent and a child. Kind of a tough. I don't know if that would work. It'd be kind of tough because you'd probably have to be a situation where the parent had the child at a young age, to where the parent isn't too old to join the army, and the child is old enough to join the army. So that'd be a tough kind of circumstance. I've seen instances where a parent and a child have been in the army at the same time, but not like gone to basic training at the same time. Because I've seen a lot of those cases where they have like a soldier has like their mom or their dad is like a sergeant major or a colonel or something like that. But to go to training at the same time to basic, that'd be really kind of tough circumstances. What's your favorite military movie? There was this one on Netflix that was pretty cool that they recently did. That one was pretty awesome. I forget what it was called now though. Something Castle or something. I forget it was Sand Castle. I don't remember. In the Army Now is great. It's pretty funny. Black Hawk Down's a good movie. I don't know what my favorite one would be though. I don't know. In the Army Now probably is probably up there somewhere though. Other than college, is recruiting someone to enlist the only way to join with higher rank now? No. Well, other than college, you can come in with a little bit of rank. Like if you recommended someone, you can probably come in as an E2. I think if you did like the top level of Boy Scout, you can come in possibly as an E3, or if you did ROTC or JROTC in high school, you can possibly come in as an E3. But for E4, that does require college. And there's some circumstances where if you had like an associate's degree, you can come in as an E3 too. But there's a couple of other ways you can probably come in with a little bit of rank without having to have college. What do we got for time? We got about 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes of the live stream. We're going to be cutting it off. So if you have not already hit that thumbs up on the stream, make sure you do so. Show some love if you're enjoying it. If for whatever reason you're here watching Chaos Live and you're not subscribed to the channel, maybe you should subscribe. And if you're interested in having a cool rank icon next to your name, maybe think about joining the channel. Get some extra perks as well as a cool little rank next to your name. Are civilian jobs that are still a part of the military, such as yours, regularly available to enlisted who are getting out of the Army? Well, I mean, you still have to get out of the Army to really get these kind of jobs, but yeah. I mean, it's all a matter of finding out what companies have the different contracts on the installation for this kind of work, and then going to their website probably or something like that to see if they have any job openings and the requirements. Sometimes they want you to have a little bit of education. They want you to have a security clearance. Sometimes they have all their different little qualifications they want. Sometimes they're a little lenient on that based on your experience, but yeah. What's your opinion on the AGR in general? I don't know if I really have much of an opinion. Well, were all your company commanders always 88 mics as well? No. I don't know if I've had any company commanders who were 88 mics. I think all my company commanders were like, I'm trying to remember like what they were. There was some company commanders that had their infantry. Some company commanders I had that I think were like logistics area, but you're not like actual 88 mics because officers don't have that same kind of MOS. So no, I can't remember like what kind of field they were in, the company commanders that I had. but I know there was a couple of infantry ones. My basic training, we had twins that joined together. That's pretty cool. Can you bring nail clippers to basic training? Yes, you should be able to, because you got to clip your nails anyways. So, yeah, nail clippers should be allowed. Love your channel. Thank you for your service. Much respect from Chicago. Well, thank you, Marcus. Hey Chris, are there, was it halal and kosher MREs? I don't know if there's those specific. There's vegetarian ones. Those usually there's just like regular MREs and then vegetarian MREs. That's kind of really, I think, the only two types of MREs they really have. I have a college degree, so when I join, I will become an E4. If you have a bachelor's, to be able to come in as an E4, you have to have a bachelor's degree. If you just have an associate's degree, you can probably come in as a private first class, E3. What are some extra schools in the Army that everyone can go? A lot of them, really. I mean, sometimes they have priority that go to just certain people. So, I mean, anyone can go to airborne school. Sometimes give priority to people that need it more so than others. But air assault, pretty much anyone can. There's a lot of schools you can go to. Can I join as a single mother? It's a difficult. That one's pretty difficult. I will definitely say they usually have, I think they have you do something kind of crazy where you have to give up custody of your child to where you're not the primary caregiver. So in a way, no. There are ways that you can, but it's a tough situation. You can talk to a recruiter about all the different avenues that you can possibly take to be able to join the Army if that's really something you want to join or something you really want to do. But yeah, it's a really tough situation that a lot of people don't like. If you're trying to join as a single mother or single parent for that matter, where they kind of have you pretty much give up custody of your child so that you're not the primary caregiver anymore. How hard is the Army? This is probably an idiotic question. I guess it depends on your job. I mean, I wouldn't say that, it's easy. I wouldn't say that it's hard. It really just depends on your MOS and what you're doing as far as how difficult or how easy it is. Some MOSs are easier than others. You might be someone who's inside of an office all the time, and that's pretty easy. You might have some avenues of it that are difficult, maybe physical fitness or certain other things that everybody still has to do regardless of your job. Everybody has to do PT, everybody has to do weapons qualification and everything, but there are some jobs that are easier and some jobs that are harder, so it really depends on the job. I want to put in my paperwork for recommendation for promotion in the Chaos Army. You're already a specialist. I think a couple more months, because you're 2 months in now. I think it's at 6 months you'll move up to sergeant. So if you remain a member there, Jay the Vorn, for month 6, then your specialist icon will then become a sergeant. So you're a little ways away there. I can't. I don't have any control over how fast you move. That's just based off of the icons I have loaded for each tier, and you're a couple months away from that next tier at 6 months, and then you'll get that sergeant icon. I did change it up, by the way, if you didn't notice. I had it before where 6 months was sergeant, and then I think a year was captain, and then 2 years was like 4-star general. I decided just to keep it all enlisted, so now it goes from 6 months to sergeant, which was how it was, but now instead of it going to captain, it goes to first sergeant for 1 year, and then the next tier after that is 2 years, which just has the Army star for it. So I did change that up a little bit. Should they have a vegan MRE? I don't know if you really need it. I mean, probably not. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they have a vegan MRE. Whether they should or shouldn't have it, I don't really know. I don't know how important it is to people who are vegan that they really need that, but maybe. I don't know. Would a vegetarian MRE do just as good, or is that not the same? I don't know. Is infantry hard? I guess it depends on who you talk to. I mean, I wasn't in the infantry, so I'm not a good, person to talk to. There are some people that I know that were 11 Bravos that said that it was easy. Some said it was hard. So it depends on situations, I guess. Are there sports teams in the Army? If yes, what sports do they have? They do. They have, well, for one, you have the football team that you could do, which is if you're only at West Point, though. That's college football. Then they have other sports you can do because they have a special sports program that eventually I'll do a video on. I have to research it a little bit more. We have a training location at Fort Carson in Colorado, and that allows you to do like boxing. You can do, I think you have soccer. I think they do basketball and baseball. I know they do MMA for it's combatives, but it's basically MMA. I don't remember what else they do. They do like weightlifting competitions, track and field type of things, different things like that. I forget what the program is called, the special sports program they have though. But yeah, eventually I'll do a video on that to explain it a little bit better. Thoughts on 11 Alpha? Was that the officer for infantry? I don't know. Maybe it's great. I don't know. How do you join the Chaos Army? Well, technically, the Chaos Army is just being a subscriber, but then the additional tier of getting the cool icon next to your name, and all the extra perks that come with it. If you go to down below, there should be a link or a little button that says join. If you're watching this on desktop or whatever, you can click on that button. If you're watching this on a mobile device, then you go to the video description, and there's a link in the video description to be able to get to that same area and be able to join for any of the 3 different tiers that you want. But any of the tiers gets you that icon next to the name to be able to have that. So that one is definitely a perk for every tier, no matter which tier you choose. So if that's what you're talking about, that's how you get to that one. So Chris, last question. How often does the Army update its MRE's meal changes, or do they not change anything? I don't know how often they change it. They somewhat change it regularly-ish, but how often, I don't know, because they're definitely not the same as like when I was in. Even when I was in, the MREs were going through different changes and stuff like that, because for a while, I knew what was in the spaghetti MRE. I knew that it came with Skittles and it came with these peanut butter crackers and everything, and then at some point, the spaghetti MRE didn't come with that anymore. So, and then you started seeing other ones like the bean burrito MRE and certain other ones that, the hamburger one that wasn't very good. So I don't know how often they change it, but they change it pretty often. Jay the Vorn, okay, gotta go. Proud to be a member of your channel, rock on. Well, thanks, Jay the Vorn. Yeah, we're getting close to ending it here. We're almost to the end of the live stream anyways. Edward, what's happening? What do you think the odds of being sexually assaulted or in the military or in the Army? Most of my friends' parent worried about their child being sexually assaulted in the military. Also, what can someone do if, was he assaulted or something? I don't know if there's any kind of higher, statistics that say that being in the military is a higher chance of sexually assaulted or a lower chance. I don't really know as far as that. So I don't know if there's really a high chance. I don't think so, because the punishment is much higher. I believe technically, I think based on UCMJ action, if you get convicted of rape, I think that could be life in prison for military. I would think, I don't know for sure on facts on this, but I think it's lower than it would be like in the civilian world, just because of the punishment being much stricter. Not just to say that it doesn't happen, but I think it's possibly a lower statistic of being sexually assaulted in the military because of the punishment you could face. But you would just basically go to your leadership, they do an investigation on it, you go see JAG, all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel like it'd be less of a chance, but I don't know for sure. Do you get issued a gun when you get out of the Army? No. Why would you get issued? And it's a weapon, not a gun. I heard the number of people trying to get into the Army is declining. Is that true? Kind of. In certain MOSs, I heard that they recently passed their, at first it was looking really bad as far as their quota of what their target goal was for enlisting people, but then I heard something about they passed it though. I think when they offered those big bonuses for infantry, that ended up passing it. So it fluctuates all the time. Sometimes there's a lot of people wanting to join, sometimes there's not, and sometimes it's harder to get people to join than other times. So I don't know. I did hear that people going special forces is a little bit harder right now, where there's not as many people becoming special forces as there used to be, because just not as many people are in physically good enough shape or capable of being able to pass as they used to be. But I don't know. Chris, vegans and vegetarians are similar but different. Vegans don't participate that involves any animal byproducts. Interesting. Any advice for becoming a ranger medic? Be in great shape to be able to pass RASP. That's really the biggest thing. I mean, you're gonna try to go for medic, which you'd normally just be a medic regardless of being a ranger medic. But then every MOS has to go through the same ranger selection to go through RASP, and then you have to pass that. So one of the big things is just being in really excellent shape to be able to get through the course and being super motivated and everything like that. All right, so we're gonna do we'll do an old question that maybe I missed, and then one last final question, and then we're gonna be cutting off the live stream because we are just over an hour, and I would like to try to complete MOS Monday episode for tomorrow for you guys. So I want to be able to get to that. So let me go backwards. Let me scroll backwards in the chat. Let me see if I can find a good question that maybe I passed over. Let's see if I can find one. This is always the hard part. It's trying to find a question that maybe I didn't answer that's actually a pretty decent question or something like that. Answered that one. Answered that one. Did that one. Man, I did a lot of these. Some of these are just either you guys responding to somebody or I've already answered it. Answered that one. Dang. I answered those ones. I apparently answered a lot of them. I guess we'll do this one, I guess. Do you think joining the military is a good choice right now? I don't know if it ever is a good choice, compared to another time. I mean, because you never know when a war is going to break out. If that's what you're kind of referring to is, you're worried that you're going to join and then a war is going to break out. You never know when it's going to break out, right? I joined before there was any kind of conflict going on. A couple years into being in the military, the Iraq War started. So nobody really anticipated that happening. Just a lot of crap went down and you end up in that situation. So it's hard to say, when a good time to join is. If you wait a couple years and, it'd be better compared to doing it now. You never know. It's really just kind of a roll of the dice, really. So I can't really say that, going now is better than waiting for a couple of years or vice versa or whatever. It's just up to you. When you feel ready to do so, if you're ready to take on the possibility that you could deploy to a conflict, you just have to be ready for that kind of a thing, and not look at it that way. You have to be always, there's always the possibility of that. So you can't look at it as, I don't want to join if there's a conflict going on, because you never know when there's a conflict going to happen. So it's too hard to try to join and not get stuck in a conflict because you don't know. You never know. So we'll do one last question. Let me see. I'll do a couple of questions, I guess. Who are the service members that work at MEPS? Did they volunteer for it or assign to work there? So they're not... there's a few service members that may be there. Most of the people that are usually there are usually civilian, though, from what I've always seen. I guess it kind of depends on the MEPS location, I guess. But most of the time, those individuals there are civilians that maybe are veterans or something like that, or just well-trained. So I don't believe that... I don't know if there is any service members. I don't remember seeing any when I went through MEPS. I don't remember. But most of those people are, if not all of them, are civilians. And do you know anything about selection on Delta Force? Not a whole lot, but typically the people that they choose to bring into Delta Force are usually individuals that are already like in the Rangers, in the 75th Ranger Battalion, or individuals that are already in the Special Forces. So usually there are other instances where someone from another just regular unit could possibly get selected for Delta Force, but most of their candidates come from individuals that are already in the Special Forces or already in the Rangers. So that's the key thing. And then how often do you do these live streams? Pretty much every weekend. I will not be able to do one next weekend, though, because I will be busy. I'll be in California for my high school reunion. So probably the next live stream that I do for Chaos Live will probably be at a different day than normal. I'll probably do it maybe on Monday, maybe. So it'll be a little bit different because I won't be able to do it Saturday night because I'll be at my high school reunion. I won't be able to do it Sunday night because I'll be traveling back to Colorado. So probably the next live stream will probably be on a Monday night. So there you go. All right, guys, that's going to end it for the live stream. If you guys enjoyed the live stream, make sure you show some love by hitting that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel for whatever weird, crazy reason, you should subscribe. If you're interested in getting a cool icon next to your name for the rank and also some extra perks along with everything, maybe think about joining the channel. You can go down to the join button down below. If you are watching this on a mobile device, though, go down to the description box and you can go ahead and join that way if that's something you're interested in. Also, I have a new thing that I'm doing on my website with a mailing list. So about the first week probably of each month, I'll send out an email if you're on the mailing list, kind of a recap of some of the videos that maybe did really well, maybe on the channel and stuff, some maybe news on different things that I'm doing, and a little bit of other cool info through the mailing list. So if you want to join the mailing list, head over to ChristopherChaos.com. There should be a little link on the right-hand side, or you have to scroll down if you're on mobile to be able to see the little link to join the mailing list and get a cool little newsletter around the first of each month. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me for Chaos Live. And I guess I'll see you guys, Monday will probably be the next time that I do Chaos Live. So thanks for hanging out. See you guys next time. See ya.